like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on. With an intro like that, with a guest like this, there's nothing more I can say other than people deluded. I'm back again. We got Cecil in the building. You saying, my boy?
I'm good, bro. I'm off today, as you know. So when I'm here, at least I got at least a day, a little bit to myself. But no, I'm good. I mean, I've been all right. I've had a fucking good couple. Excuse my language. So I don't
Yeah, man. Nah, you've had a good time, man. I was watching your TikTok live stream of the PFA Awards. I was hoping you try and get some secrets about Van Dijk and Salah and how we can pick them to the title. But yeah, you're doing bits, my boy.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, no, it was good. That was a big one for me. Still, I can't lie. That was huge. I was actually at TikTok head offices yesterday. I was kind of going through it all and doing reviews and looking at like what the future looks like and if we can do more things like that. So it was a success from their perspective, from the PFA's perspective. And yeah, like obviously the Van Dijk and Salah, I tried to get Sam, obviously him playing my game saying we're favourites and that. And now they've got Isak and they're beating, I don't know. It's a weird one. It's an interesting one, but things have been good, man. I just Arsenal, bro. The window was good and then you see the result and things hurt a little bit, but listen, I'm still positive, still optimistic for the season. Trying not to get too bogged down with what the media are saying. Obviously, there's some conversations that have to be had, and there will be had, I'm sure, in this live. And also, I don't know. I think things are all right. There's improvements to be made. I hope for a bit of a change when we come back after the international break, but it's the third game, bro. I have to keep reminding myself, it's only the third game. So yeah. What are you telling me though? It's been a minute.
You touched on everything I want to go through, and this is why you're here, because obviously, as you said, we'll get into it and kind of harp on about the fact that it's 3 games in it, but it's 3 games. Everything's being said. I think Arsenal fans have been on knife edge where last season's concerned, definitely pre-season, and obviously at the moment. I do want to ask you though, yeah, do you buy the fact that, well, with Salah and Van Dijk, obviously they're Premier League champions, do you think Liverpool were the favourites or are the favourites for the Premier League, or do you take their words and say we're the favourites because we've been together for a long time and all that stuff Salah was saying actually after he made the comments with you on I think it was on Sky Sports, like
well, the comments were was at the PFA Awards on the live stream. He said that's the clip. He said it when he was there with us, but like that got taken though. That was he first said that with me.
Exactly.
And then Sky Sports reran it like throughout the whole week, actually. Even built up
your
to
whole
the game.
flow, man.
Yeah, they even re-asked him. They said, "We said they heard at the PFA Awards. This is what you said. Do you still stand by this?" I think, and then when I speak to people, say that Salah he's like a franchise player, innit? So he doesn't really talk much, but when he talks, he's very calculated. So I think he is playing a bit of mind games, pushing the pressure over.
100%.
And now looking at it, so they just signed Isak. They've beaten us. They were always favourites anyway, bro. They were champions without making any signings, and now they've made
breaking a sweat.
Exactly, and now they've made a load of signings. Like it only puts more pressure on them to retain the title. It's only us that put the pressure on ourselves because it's been second 3 times in a row. But Liverpool are favourites. You'll be naive to think they're not. They're currently obviously unbeaten already. And they're not even playing well. There's players like and all that. Yeah, but they're 9 from 9. They haven't even clicked yet, and they're still top of the league. So I know it's still early, but they have always been and currently are favourites. I don't buy into what Salah was saying. The only thing I take from what Salah said, and I think he's right in the fact that we're probably the most stable because we have a foundation of, we have the best defense in the league, and that's true. And they've been together for a long time now. So that is definitely true what he said there, but it doesn't make you favourites. It just means you've got a good foundation. Now it's time for Arteta to start, earning his wage and making the attack work, which is, what you've been brought in to do. That's what you're here to do. You've got the signings now. Now you've got to make it work. But the foundation of what we have, Salah's right. That was definitely true, but they are favourites.
Bro, where I'm at with Mikel Arteta, when it's all said and done, everyone can have their opinions. I don't think he's ever going to shut up opinions on him until he obviously gets over the line. But simply put, you've sent Berta to the shop, like when our mums all used to send us to Sainsbury's or whatever. You've come back with the ingredients. It's down to your mum, in this case, Mikel Arteta, to cook the meal and show that you can heat up the Dutch pot and make it work. I think many Arsenal fans would look at it, Arne Slot's earned that right. He's won titles in Holland. He's obviously won a title here. You touched on it, that he's favourites. Many kind of Arsenal fans have the belief that we might, or potentially we have a title winning 11 or a squad it's down to Mikel Arteta to get things out of it, get things out of them. Do you think, yeah, in fact, better question, yeah, before I ask you about that. When it's all said and done, 3 games into the season, what have you made of Arsenal so far? So that's obviously Man United, Leeds, Liverpool. Like, what have you made of us at this moment in time?
I haven't been massively impressed, but I'm not. Again, like I'm aware it's 3 games. I'm aware that it takes time for people to click and things to click into place. I think Man United, we were really poor, and the narrative was, but you won the game. And then when it's the shoes on the other foot, it happens at Arsenal, and we play against Liverpool, and they're really poor, but they won the game. I think I look at that performance at Man United. I think, okay, it's the first one. It is United. It's Old Trafford away. I was sorry, United away, so it's going to be difficult. But like, I wasn't happy with that. Leeds in patches as well. Wasn't happy, if I'm honest. Listen, we won 5-0, so I'm not going to go too harsh on the players. But there was patches in that game where I'm like, it's not fluid. It's not. I wanted to change it from last season. I was disappointed in the way we were playing last season. I know Arsenal. I grew up on Arsenal playing luxurious football, bopping teams off the pitch, and yes, yeah, exactly. You can talk about possession and suffocating teams, but that doesn't come with enjoyable watch. It doesn't come with an enjoyable watch. It doesn't come with you're guaranteed to win those games. So for me, I'm looking at obviously the 22-23 season when we're slapping teams. You want to get back to that. I'm still yet to see that, which is interesting because I feel like we have the capabilities and the players to do it. I think we have an unbelievably technical side. Eze, once Saka's back, those two on the wings is technically immense. You got Declan Rice, who's actually very technically gifted. You can tell by his free kicks in the corners. You have Martins and Mendy, who can control and dictate the pace of a game. But right now, and then we've got our back line and our defense line that's completely solid. So my frustration is when you have that defense line, you have a goalkeeper that good, you go a Golden Glove winner and all that. You just want your defense to be able to defend and then let the creative players go and create. That is what I'm dreaming of. That's what I'm hoping to see from Arsenal. I'm yet to. So I put that on Arteta. I put that on him and his tactics. So far, I'm not massively impressed because I feel like there's an obvious answer to this. Like, let your defenders defend and then let your creative players go and create. But we have creative problems, which again, it really confuses me. It doesn't really make sense to me because I'm like, you have everything there. Andrew Burt has done his job. And so now go and get the right sources or ingredients when it comes to like tactics and way of playing to get it right, to let the players play. So haven't been impressed. I think I did a live, what are we, Thursday? I did a live on Tuesday with Curtis, and one of the titles was going to be Liverpool going to be the turning point for Arsenal. And the reason why I say that's because I expect the players to come back up international break. The media, I mean, they went harsh on Arteta in the way we were playing and being, a bit defensive with the players he put on the pitch. I think that should be the turning point for when we go forward and play Nottingham Forest at home to now say, okay, I've heard what you lot have said. Even though I'm the manager, I know what you're saying. I've got the defense and all that. Now I'm going to let my players, in considering they've all come in now, Eze's now got a few minutes under his belt. We've seen what the quality he has. I'm going to now let my players, the attack players, go in and flourish and play. The only thing that's the sticking point is Viktor Gyökeres. I'm not giving up on him. I think he's a good player, but that is a sticking point of that has to work. We have to make that work. Whether that's, I've argued and I got
create some chances, man.
I got killed in the comments for saying he needs to adapt to the team because everyone's saying no, we need to adapt to him. And I don't know, maybe I might have been wrong in that, but I also think there is a bit of give and take. I think both
two-way street.
I think both parties need to adapt. I think he needs to find a way to get involved a bit more and play to his strengths, whether that's holding up the ball and bringing other players in, or we need to also adapt to creativity. We're going around the sides all the time. No one's going through the middle. I don't know why we're not doing that when we have someone like Viktor Gyökeres in the team. I think against Konate, it was naive to play into him because he was losing that physical battle with Konate. Konate is very strong. That is his strength.
You see them centre halves against Haaland. Like we would have had more joy, like with a Jesus or a Trossard. That's where they kind of struggle. Where you got more of a random forward type of thing.
This is the point I was trying to get across on AFTV, and I was just getting cooked for it. But that was the point I was trying to get across. When it comes to other teams, yes, when they're a bit weaker in defense and they can't bully Viktor Gyökeres, then we can play through the middle, 1-2s, bounce it off him. But I think what we did right against Liverpool is went around the sides because Viktor Gyökeres was losing that battle. You're right. If we had a Jesus or a Havertz in there, and that's me saying Havertz, it probably would have worked better because he's more intelligent of coming off the man, not trying to get into a wall with them and finding us pockets of space. But for me, once that clicks with Viktor Gyökeres, I think we can start getting the creative players in the Eze's and it will start to flow. Odegaard's a problem for me, but we'll talk about it. And I think the first 3 games I've seen a lot. I'm not a manager, but what I've seen, I hope going to Nottingham Forest, I see those changes because I think they're kind of glaring in my opinion. But we'll see.
Why do you think we've not seen any building blocks? Because anyone that understands football, obviously, you know, we've criticized Mikel Arteta. Everybody knows, like, maybe we could take the handbrake off. I don't want us to go the other way. I still want us to be great defensively. But yeah, and then when you look at it, I don't think anyone's expecting 3 games in. Obviously, we're playing free-flowing football. All the problems have been rewritten. That's not how football works. For me, I more want to see that 10, 11 games in. But for me, I just want to see a bit of building blocks or a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Like, for instance, unpopular opinion, I think it was a boring game between Arsenal and Liverpool. I think both teams cancelled each other out. I think, you know, it was decided by a wonderful free kick. But that's my issues. I can't equate for like a Szoboszlai doing what he did. But we were starting to get overran. Zubimendi's giving away the free kick. That's where I needed my manager to change things, because not in terms of subs, but Arne Slot changed things at half time. And he even said it after the game. It's like, we gambled with Szoboszlai. And actually, that's something I want to see from Arteta. We've got a great defensive ethos. We've got Declan Rice protecting like he was against Liverpool. And obviously, we've got great 1v1 defenders. For what you might lose defensively by keeping a couple of players up the field, you might gain in another aspect. And it does feel that we're a very good defensive team. Our ethos, the mid blocks, the low blocks, all of that kind of stuff, Cecil. But you know what they say, attack is a form of defense, in it, and it feels like that's the one aspect we don't actually have in our game. But then I do want to ask you, like, when it's all said and done, you know, it was a fantastic bit of skill from Szoboszlai. We lost to the champions. We've got 6 points from 9 in this 3 games in. Are we overreacting? Like, whether we're overreacting as to throw away the title, it's all done, crying about the tactics. Are we doing too much as Arsenal fans? Or is it kind of trickling on from last season? And actually the 2 games prior to Liverpool for you?
Yeah, good question. I'm firstly, what Patrick's saying, I hear what he's saying.
Which one?
Yeah, that patch one just before. I hear what he's saying about adapting, but like I said, I think for that game, yeah, this one, we don't want him drifting out wide. He can't play on the wing, can't do any of that. Definitely not. We have to build up through the middle. But again, you have to pick and choose that. Like I said, I think against Liverpool, it was not the smart move because he was losing that battle, in my opinion, to Konate. Your question about, you know, are we overreacting? Are fans overreacting? Obviously, I listened to Rio Ferdinand's comments, which I saw them today. I think they came out yesterday about.
You're a better man than me listening to Rio about Arsenal.
Yeah, do you know what? He actually annoys me a lot of the time when it comes to his words on Arsenal, because I feel like he's always trying to poke and prod and just be that troll. Yeah, but in this one, he spoke about, you know, Liverpool. It's Liverpool away, like, and it's one wondrous free kick. Arsenal in the game. He basically just kind of put water on the fire that a lot of fans are saying, you know, yeah, the season's done and we should be going there full out attack and showing them, if you want to win the league, this is what you got to do. You got to impose yourself on them and go full out and go and win, go for the big, well, the jugular really, and get a big win. For me, firstly, actually one thing he said, it was a boring game. I'm now going to put my hand up and say, I got caught up in being there. So my thing is, I was like, it was a really good game. And I kept saying that, and I was again, I'm aware of what people say. I'm aware of the comments. I was getting killed for. Me and Robbie were saying it was a good game and Arsenal were in it and whatnot. But that's because I think we was in when we were sat there and we were both at halftime, and a lot of the old school fans.
We had a better first half than them, 100%.
Yeah, and that's what it was. And all the old school man were like, listen, I've been here many years and I've never felt this confident or comfortable at halftime. So I was like, and then I was buying into that. I was buying into the crowd trying to get up, the Anfield crowd trying to get up, and then we were just like nullifying them. Salah wasn't doing nothing. Ekitike wasn't doing nothing. So I was like, this is actually a fascinating game to see. Like, Liverpool actually struggling especially in that first half.
That was the best time to beat Liverpool in recent years. I'll be so real.
Right. So that's why I kind of was like, this is a good game. In the second half, you're right. You're spot on. They mentioned at halftime that Slot made changes, and he basically clocked what Arsenal were doing, and they made the small adjustments that kind of got them back in the game, even though I still think they weren't as good as people are making out. They scored from a wondrous free kick. So, but they just got a little bit more into the game. But Arsenal could have made that Eze sub 10 minutes earlier. I mean, he cooked Szoboszlai touch around the corner. That might have changed some things. I'm surprised he brought on Max Downham instead of Trossard. There was a few things that could have been done a little bit earlier, bringing on all these attacking subs, but it didn't happen. Martin Odegaard, where's
even
Ethan?
a Wanyeri?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So, but again, it was kind of predicted what Arteta was going to do anyway, which is probably a problem actually, if I'm in it, because I kind of knew the subs that were going to come.
In-game management's an issue for the gaffer, man.
Exactly. Liverpool would have known the ones that were coming as well if I knew. So, and they probably prepared for that. Do I think fans are overreacting? It's the third game. PTSD plays a part in this. That's the thing. So, if I say they're overreacting, I'm being a bit
disingenuous, a tiny bit.
Yeah, I'm being a bit disrespectful, a bit harsh because we kind of see what's happening. And as much as I want to say it's the third game, I understand because they've just signed Isak. They've just beat. If we won the game and they signed Isak, then I'd be like, If we drew the game as well and fans were overreacting by saying we should have won, we needed to win, I would have been like, guys, calm down. We didn't lose, and yes, they got Isak, but we haven't lost. And when we get them in a reverse fixture, it kind of goes off that game. Like if we're still in the race,
we need to beat them.
Yeah, because we lost, and now they've got Isak, and I don't know, they are favourites. I get it. I do get it. I just don't like to think like that. People know me as a fan. I don't want to think it's all over because brother, I go week in, week out. I'm going
30-odd games left. Like Liverpool might win the league, but come on.
Exactly. I can't be in that headspace of, but these men are they've won the league already. Like I can't do that.
To at least try.
What's the point of me going? If we start losing games in the first 10 games and whatnot, and Liverpool continue to win, then I'll be like, all right, cool. But I'm not going to say fans are overreacting because I get it. But I will stay in my head. I'm saying, listen, it's the third game. Things are going to, like our team, we've got injuries. Our team can still got time to click. Last season, they kind of ran away from it. We weren't really in a title race. So that is why there's PTSD, because like they didn't have all these signings and they won it with a canter. Like they were chilling. So
and they've improved somehow, like the madness.
Exactly. So I understand the logic. I understand logic. I always try and look at it the other way though and say they won the league with just Chiesa and he barely played. So what's to say that, okay, why can't we win the league with the signings we've made signings, but with lack of players as well? Like why can't Arteta do what Slot done? Some will say that because he's Arteta, that could be an argument. But for me, I think the league is not won or lost in what month we're in bloody September. Like
it's just about September. It's fresh into September.
Exactly. But I understand. Like I said, I'm going to keep saying I do understand some of the fans. If you weren't an Arteta hater before, I understand those fans, because the fans that are the loudest right now in my DMs and on me are the ones that never believed in Arteta anyway. So that's why they're saying it's done and get him out. So if you was originally an Arteta hater, I can't get on board with you too much. But if you're one that's just saying, listen, I've seen this before, I've been here, done that. We needed to win that game. Cecil, like, look at Liverpool, look how strong. I can actually understand
things as well.
Yeah. And also Liverpool haven't clicked yet. So they could be saying, look, what happens when they do click and they've got all these players. So that I can have a conversation with you. Trust me. All right.
That's how I look at it. It's like Arteta, you've got the tools in it. It's like you mentioned something around Gyökeres, and I think you're right. It's a two-way street. It's Gyökeres has to adapt to the new system, the dynamics of being respectfully from Sporting Lisbon to Arsenal, where we're playing low blocks and deep blocks and all that kind of crap. But also Mikel Arteta. I know no two players are the same, but the way I look at football right now, Isak would have been the dream, because I think in terms of what I see up front, where you kind of have to live off scraps, Isak could probably bag himself a couple of goals, like what Gyökeres did against Leeds. But I also think it doesn't matter if you got Sesko, Ollie Watkins, Gyökeres as we've got, or Isak. All of them would struggle. In the way that I look at my defense, there's probably some of the shittest defenders in the Premier League that, for argument's sake, if they played for Arsenal, because of our defensive structure, they'll look a bit better. And I just feel when Arteta comes to risk, he's more risk averse. He takes a lot of risk in the defensive third, playing out from the back, all of that stuff. Yeah. And it seems like it's not extended into the final third. Then when I look at someone like Gyökeres, right, I couldn't answer the simple question of whoever, whether we get Eze, whether we get Gyökeres, Saka's fit, whatever, do you just slap them players on the pitch and we're just playing great attacking football? It was never that. So it's a case of tactics. And whatever way I look at it, Gyökeres is bagged for Sweden, for Sporting, and for commentary. If he comes here on top of what I would say, what we've all been saying actually about tactics and things, then it has to be on the gaffer to get something out of him. I'm yet to see Gyökeres have clear-cut chances. Yes, he needs to adapt. Yes, he's not fully fit and things of that ilk. But that's where we want to see little building blocks. Now, a lot of people are hypocrites. If it was 0-0 and Mikel Arteta went for it and we still lost 1-0, a lot of people would still say, oh, you still lost, you didn't win at Anfield, all of these kind of talking points, Cecil, right? But for me and many Arsenal fans, we'd have looked at it and said, all right, cool, that gamble might not have paid off at Anfield, but we've seen similar scenarios in games where things need to change. Maybe it pays off 3-4 times in the season. That kind of makes the difference for us. That's probably where my frustrations are with Mikel Arteta and whatnot. So then I have to ask you about our midfield, because I'm not worried about Rice. I know Rice was playing more of a traditional role historically with Rice, but in an Arsenal shirt, he's further forward. He's kind of screening the back four. Zubimendi, I think, was good in the first half. I think he needed a number of players, including him, needed to come off in the second half. And then you had Odegaard. But before we talk about Odegaard, I know you want to get onto him. Merino, like, What did you make of the Merino thing? Was you did you predict that? Did you think it was going to be an Eze thing? Did you think Wanyeri? Do you think it was right on brand with Arteta? What was you like with Merino in midfield?
I like this. This is a good one. I'll be honest, because Merino never even came into my
Crazy,
bro. I wasn't even thinking about Merino. I promise you. Even me and Robbie, we saw the 11, and I said Merino. I said what? I said what's going on? However, I will caveat this. He surprised me, and I'm probably the only one that stands there and says this. I thought he done all right. I think physicality. I think I think they were so physical in that midfield, and he was up for the battle and the fight. And me and Curtis absolutely slated me on Tuesday for this. He was like, brother, he was dead. But I do not believe that. I actually think he done well. I didn't want him to start though, which is weird but I didn't know how the game was going to go. So when I saw him trying to get bullied and him fighting off man and breaking up play, I was like, oh, we actually kind of needed that in there, because Ethan might have got a bit bullied, but you would have seen a bit more attacking prowess from me. You might have seen more chance creation. Martin Odegaard was rumored to be fit as well, not 100%. And I was like, do you risk some Martin Odegaard in there? He hasn't been on great form anyway. If he's not fit, if he's not 100% fit, I was thinking don't play him. So it'd have been an Ethan or an Eze. I wouldn't have minded an Eze in there. Everyone kept telling me
we all wanted Eze.
Not going to start. Yeah, everyone kept saying he's not going to start Eze, but I just kept saying why. I didn't understand why. We're kind of brainwashed to say what, because he's new. Okay, cool, but he's fit. He's been playing. He played at Palace. He's played against Liverpool as well. He's probably ready to go. He's up to speed.
Helps with the randomness as well.
Yeah, the only thing he doesn't know is obviously, the connection between, well, not even the connection between Arsenal players. He would have had a training session, but like maybe how Arteta wants him to play. But in my opinion, you kind of needed someone to be a bit, I don't know, just not
something Slot and Liverpool didn't expect.
Yeah, that's it. Something that's uncalled for, uncounted, like uncalculated. They're not going to be ready for it. So it would have been nice to have seen Eze starting there, even though he did all right on the left. But Mikel Merino was not, honestly, I didn't even think of a possibility of him starting that game. But I'm going to give him credit. I actually think he wasn't as bad as, and I know people might go against me on that, but I didn't think he was that bad. So Mikel Merino, listen, I think he's actually probably better up front than he isn't in midfield. But in that game,
1,000,000%.
Yeah, I was happy for him for his performance.
Like rolling around on the floor, if I'm honest with you. That's one thing that annoys me about Merino. But I echo it. Like everyone was like, "Oh, Merino, Arteta, this kind of has to work." In game, I saw us playing 2 banks of 4. He's kind of doing a 4-4-2 thing. We're going long. I do think he's spending too long on the floor and whatnot. I do think he gave away a lot of stray passes, but I still maintain that it was mad. I do think it was mad. I don't think he should have done it. But when I saw it in game, I kind of rationalized it. But again, it kind of goes and ties in, Cecil, with like the theme of being predictable. Because if I go back to the point about Slot, yeah, I wonder how much Slot changed things off his own back and off Liverpool wanting to change things. But knowing that we are not going to change things. For example, we're never going to leave man further up the field. We're always going to retreat into our shape. So naturally, they're going to get further up the field. And I think when I look back, it was that 15 minutes or that 20 minutes or that 20-minute period up until the free kicks given away that we're kind of playing into their hands, man. And again, I just want to see different stuff. Cool. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Wanyeri could have got overruled at Anfield and looked a bit mad. Eze, it might not have banged, if I'm honest with you. I was frustrated with the sub of Max Dowman. No disrespect to Max, because I want to see you play. You're exciting. You're playing at Anfield. You're getting Premier League minutes. I'm cool with that. I just think it was the same theme of Mikel Arteta kind of dying on his sword and you're just doing the same things and cool, it's 10 minutes. Here kind of thing. I actually thought there was scope to take off Zubamendi, put Rice in on the right hand side, put on Miles Lewis Skelly, Calafiori ain't put a foot wrong, and then kind of maneuver from there. I don't feel we see a lot of differences. I don't want to skip over things, yeah, but before I ask you about something else, yeah, I want to look at, because we're on with midfield, I got a tab and I want to know your thoughts on this. Mikel Arteta was asked on the starting midfield and if it was too conservative. Sorry, people, I don't know if you lot can see it. He said, that's what we had. Odegaard was injured. Kai Havertz cannot play. Merino is a player that is incredible with what he did there. We played with 3 attacking players, 2 attacking fullbacks. After the game, I think it's too easy to say that. So it seems like he's doubling down. But what do you make of that? Like, does it still have shades of the stubbornness from him?
Oh, so I haven't seen it. Yeah, everyone keeps asking me about the quote.
He's a madman sometimes.
Apparently, he blamed Eze as well for a chance as well, which I didn't know, but Curtis brought up. I said, "Oh my god, Arteta's moving mad." That's what we had. Odegaard was injured. Okay, Kai Havertz couldn't play. Marine.
And if you're getting that Eze, bro, that's 1 chance in the game, Gaffer. How many times did we have chances?
I couldn't believe it when I saw the quote about Eze. I could not believe it. You can't throw a